When it comes to corded, gas, or air tools, it doesn't really matter if you mix up a lot of different brands. But what about when you're buying into a cordless system? Let's talk about it. I'm Kenny Kaler, Managing Editor of Pro Tool Reviews, and I'm here with Clint DeBoer, Editor-in-Chief of Pro Tool Reviews, and Tom Gage, our resident contractor. Today, guys, we're talking about how do we choose a cordless battery platform to buy into. So let's assume for a second that you're going to set up a little consulting booth at your local hardware store, and you're going to advise people and help them understand what things they need to consider when they buy into a cordless tool system. Where do you start?
I think we got to ask some questions. I need to know who they are, what they're doing.
The right questions. That'll tell you exactly what they need.
Okay, well, let's start off with your typical residential contractor.
I'm going to throw this one to you.
Okay, well, I'd ask, is he running a crew? Or is he, how is he using the tools? Or what type of tools is he mostly looking for?
Okay, so how does this crew come into play in that conversation?
To me, if you're supplying tools for your guys, you're going to take into consideration costs, I think.
Okay.
And so that's a big part of it. Now, if it's just a father-son doing different types of things, then it might bring in a different type of tool. But I think value is cost is a big upfront cost. Is a big
okay, and that's really for everybody, right? Whether you're DIY or high-end pro or somewhere in the middle, you've got a budget, right?
You do, but having a budget for your own tools in a limited sense and having budget for like a fleet of people, or you're running a tool crib, or you're sending, so it just depends on how the company is structured. But at the basic level, a contractor has to build his system around a core group of tools that he can rely on, that are going to be solid. They're going to be, those core tools. And what we define as core tools is going to be what? A circ saw, impact
driver, drill, reciprocating saw. Those four tools are probably your core tools, and then everything else from that's really great to have also.
Yeah, we kind of call that the general contractor's kit, those four tools in particular. And then oscillating multi-tool can be thrown in there. You've got some other general tools that a lot of people use and all that kind of stuff. So, all right, so it's got to get the job done. It's got to fit your budget. What else?
Golly, I think warranty matters.
Okay.
I think that, you need to know you're going to have some longevity.
So durability of the tool.
So durability is a big deal, because when you're out on a project, you don't want something not working, breaking down. You need it to work. And so longevity and durability is, I think, really big part of it.
Yeah, and you had said like general contractor, so you're talking about like kind of a home builder, or I mean, there's such a difference between framing a house or doing flooring, or just kind of all around remodeling, renovation stuff, carpentry work. So really, depending on which of those fields or which of those focuses, or if you do them all, it's going to widen that sense of what you want to make sure you have access to on a platform. So if I'm deciding on a cordless platform, I'm really going to look at not only what I do, but the scope of what I do, and that's going to determine somewhat of a trajectory, because there's a lot of really great tool brands out there who make some solid core tools, and they're maybe not as deep or as wide.
You bring up a great example. Trade-specific tool. Electricians, plumbers, they've got different tools than a general contractor needs, and a framer needs, all that other kind of stuff. So everybody kind of uses those four core tools somewhere along the way, and then, like you said, you branch out into a lot of other stuff. Excuse me, so beyond just the basics of getting the job done, hitting your budget, and surviving your job site, now you really want to look, I'm buying these tools today, but I need to expand into these others later. And so the brand that you're buying into really needs to have those products available to you.
It does matter. And that's where, again, we started with that general contractor, or a contractor or a pro who's in some field or some area of specialty, or he's running a crew that does all sorts of stuff in remodeling. He's got to have access to those tools. He can buy into multiple platforms, but it sure makes it a lot easier when you can.
It's a lot nicer to have one charging station with one type of battery that fits everybody.
Nobody's confused. Nobody has to worry about it. You keep buying in and you're cycling out, and it makes the world a whole lot easier.
So let me throw a hypothetical at you. I'm going to throw this at you, Tom. All right.
All right.
So let's say Milwaukee is really well known for their wide breadth of tools and hitting the electrician and the plumbers in particular really, really well. So let's say that you're on a cordless platform that's not Milwaukee. You're a plumber, and now you really need that PEX expander. So you go buy Milwaukee's. Are you okay having a few Milwaukee tools over here and keeping the rest of your stuff, or are you going to start to just transition over to Milwaukee?
So I've actually done that.
Okay.
True story is I had rigid for a long time. And over a period of time, I got one tool from Makita. I liked it. And then I got opportunity to get another tool because I found it on sale. And over time, my tool collection went from rigid to Makita.
Okay.
And it's difficult to have two different brands of tools because then it's, oh, did I forget to charge this battery for this brand? And then did I forget to, you know, it's always, you're always chasing your tail, I felt like. And now that I've completely switched over to one brand again, my battery bank is always one type of battery that fits all my tools. I don't have to be looking around for the battery that fits this tool. It makes it a lot easier to, if I have to go do a punch list, to grab a bag, throw what I need into it, and not have to worry about mixing and matching. So I think at a professional level, one platform makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, and on your directly to your issue of like a PEX expander or something that grab a particular Milwaukee tool because they make it. It's not a big deal to keep all that keep that kit in a bag.
Right.
And that's your PEX expansion tool. But what often happens is you see that some season comes around, you see that bare tool deal.
Yep.
We're all tool guys. I mean, we just go and you go to buy one more tool, and the next thing you know, you start kind of it's a kind of introduces you to a whole new world of things that you may not, and not even within the world of like plumbing or the world of electrical. You just have all of a sudden your eyes open to what's available out there from that brand, and you start to see more and more things. I start with an M12 PEX expander. I'm doing an awful lot of it, and now I'm starting to do bigger, diameter pipes. And oh my goodness, they have an M18 that'll handle larger PEX, and I'm going to grab that. And so that kind of stuff happens, and you just kind of go down the rabbit hole.
And so what about the DIY? We're talking professional level. Is it as big of a deal for a DIYer to manage multiple batteries?
I think it's worse.
I don't know. I mean, it's almost easier if you have 3 or 4 chargers sitting on your bench in your garage, and you got one drill that's this and one drill that's that.
I hate that though. I just
hate it,
yeah.
but it's not difficult because I'm not working out of a truck.
No, that's
not
true.
On a job site, having to find 5 different plugs to plug in 5 different chargers.
It's a lot easier when it's all in your garage.
Yes.
Yeah.
To mix and match and get the latest deal. At the same time,
it's not efficient by any means.
It's not efficient. It's really nice to be able to get on a platform, and so it's funny. The same thing can happen. You can go just like what you went through. You can start on a really entry level platform, and then realize you get to a point where you're doing projects that just may exceed a little bit of the capabilities of some of those tools, and now you drift into a rigid, and now you're on rigid. You were on something else. So those kind of things can go. They won't go down. But they'll always speed up, but they can happen at the DIY level, the pro level.
Yeah, and I mean, the fun thing about having multiple batteries in your garage, right, is no matter who's on sale for what, or they come out with a really cool product, it's like,
you can get it.
I've already got a battery for that, let me grab that bare tool.
That's a good point, and that is a unique perspective.
That's my dad's garage.
Well, that's my garage. I'll be perfectly honest, that's my garage too.
Yeah, I currently have 3 brands in my garage right now.
Yeah, I think I'm rocking 4.
Yeah, and it does help. It does help that you get some more options. So.
All right, so let me throw a monkey wrench at your comment about pros sticking to one battery platform. Let's pick. Well, let's pick on Makita. All right, great, huge range of 18-volt tools, and thanks to 18-volt X2, 36-volt tools, but I know all 3 of us carry both 18-volt and 12-volt tools, and we don't complain one bit about carrying 2 different batteries. So why is it okay to do multiple battery voltages, but you don't want to manage different brands? Or did I just completely blow this conversation up?
No, for me, they use the same charger.
Okay.
So that to me is sometimes when you're jockeying for space and plugs on a job site, there's not a lot of space to be able to plug in a lot of chargers. And so when you have a charger that can handle 2 or 3, 4 platforms, of that brand, it simplifies it. So I don't mind having a smaller compact tool with a smaller battery as long as I can use the same charger as my other tools.
Touche.
Yeah. And some of the brands have done it better than others. You've got DeWalt, same charger will do 12 and 20. You've got Milwaukee will do them side by side, but every charger they send with a tool now has both. Yep. So you have these brands out there that are good at doing that, and it makes it a whole lot easier. Now I can have the ergonomics of the smaller tool, which really does 80% of what I need it in most cases, and I don't have to really, it's a new battery platform, but I'm not running somewhere trying to find a charger or anything like that.
So you do have to have a little bit of extra space for 2 different types of batteries, but at least your chargers are managed. And Tom has a great point about jockeying for cord space.
And I get those 12-volt smaller tools because they're more compact. I mean, I've got a very specific reason for wanting to go to a lower size tool, and it just saves me a lot of hassle.
And that brings up a great point, right? Because even after you've got the platform that you need and is doing the work, it's got the durability, it's hitting your budget, you still have to actually like the way the tool feels in your hand.
Yeah, sure, always.
So ergonomics come into play hugely, but it's not just the handle. What else is going into the ergonomics there?
Weight, the way the trigger feels. I mean, the controls where they're located for the left, forward reversing buttons. There's lots of parts and pieces I'll touch on the tool. The chuck, how the chucks work. That's a big one for me.
Balance always changes on like a multi-tool even, hanging an 18 off the back versus a 12. Everything, it all plays together into how a tool feels. And so if you're running around a house doing baseboard, or undercutting doors for tile jobs or whatever you're doing, having a multi-tool handy that's really lightweight, even just how they fit in a tool bag. Sometimes it's a lot easier with a 12 volt than, just what you can carry with you in that weight.
Well, and outside even the cordless systems, whether it's hand tools or cordless or corded, you take stuff like the Kaizen custom inserts. It's like when everything has a place and it goes all together right, man, that makes your day better.
That's it. Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So let's shift gears a little bit. What about OPE? So we got a lot of battery-powered lawn care equipment that's out there now, and most of it's running on higher voltage systems than power tools are. So do you mind, as a homeowner, managing multiple systems, or would you rather have the systems that run both your power tools and your lawn care equipment?
For me, I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm doing a project in my house, I'm using my power tools. When I'm cutting my grass, I'm using my trimmer and my edger and my lawnmower. So to me, they don't need to share a platform. It's nice, I think, if all my OPE tools share the same battery platform. It simplifies, but I don't feel I need to have my power tools power my OPE tools.
Well, and it's back to the same thing that we were talking about with the, like an M12 or 12 volt. I have a very specific reason that I want a smaller tool. I have a very specific reason that I want a outdoor power equipment line that gives me enough runtime and power for, in my case, a larger yard. So I do think you can run into a great case in point would be a professional who's working on, I keep bringing up HVAC, but these guys just keep running into all sorts of really neat uses. So they might want a trimmer that runs on a 20 volt tool that powers that runs on the same stuff they're running, because all they're doing is trimming around an HVAC to get access to it. So that, they got 2 foot tall grass because some joker didn't trim his weeds around the HVAC unit, and you just trim that stuff. They're not professionally caring for lawns.
The whole lawn.
They're just getting access to where they need to be. That's a great application for a 20 volt type product. Somebody with a really small lawn might luck out and be able to use the same platform for their OPE that they use for their power tools. But I think I don't mind going big when you're talking about, you look at the higher voltage battery systems, they're much, much larger. You wouldn't want to put those on a power tool. Oh, sure. So to me, it's just kind of a practical thing. I want the runtime, I want the power.
So you make a great point. You've got more than an acre that you're dealing with, and Tom, you've got like a quarter acre in the city, right?
City lot.
Yeah, it's a little bit bigger. I'm on one of these new developments where there's a lot of houses on smaller lots. I've got less than an eighth of an acre to take care of. So, you got brands like Ryobi doing their 18 volt, Hart on their 20 volt, Skill on the 20 volt. Those kind of products are actually really good for my size lawn, where I might only have 5 or 10 minutes of trigger time on a string trimmer.
Yeah, and if you're starting from nothing as a homeowner, or you just bought a new house, you're just kind of getting into tools, or you're younger, or you bought into one of those platforms to kind of do the kind of work that doesn't require something that's like the max torque possible. It just makes a lot of sense to go bring that type of OPE equipment in. That's a match made in heaven. Now you got something that's going to take care of the job. You got the same battery platform. You're buying less batteries because you can share them, or when you do renew it, you get that new battery that now you can use with more tools. I like that. I just think that there's a really solid application for that, but it's going to be on those smaller lots. It's going to be where that makes sense.
Yeah, and we actually have a pretty big need for that here in Florida because we have so many mobile home parks. And they don't have a lot of grass to take care of. Plus, those tools are much lighter weight with their smaller batteries, and so for our folks that live in them, it's just easier to handle. One other thing, let's talk about warranty for a second. How does that play into your decision in choosing a cordless platform?
Yeah, warranty's still like an indicator to me.
It's not something I'm necessarily going to make a claim on, I don't think. It's more of, hey, I think I can use this tool for the next year or two.
And now you're hearing that from, you know, a contractor perspective.
Right.
And I think that's what we see a lot. Or if they do make a claim, they're kind of making them at one time. They get a box of tools that have broken over the last year. They're all kind of still hopefully under warranty, and they'll go get them taken care of. But I think where the warranty, if you really want to execute a warranty, and I think that's your DIYer, your serious DIYer, your home user. They're the ones that are really going to want to kind of make sure they're really, really focused on value, and they don't want to buy a tool that breaks. If it happens to break or something goes wrong, they want to get it replaced.
Time is money with us, so when that battery goes out, we're going to go buy a new battery.
Yeah, a homeowner can go without a drill perhaps for a week or two or a month or whatever it needs. You know, in theory, easier than a contractor is going to be. They're just going to go buy another tool.
Well, and that's when it makes it so nice. You know, the stores, or if you got a good relationship with your local hardware store, where you can take the tool back, they can take a quick look at it, send you home with a new one, or be able to let you know, hey, I'll have this ready for you in a couple of days or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's just some really good stuff in there, but I think you're right. Warranty claims are probably more DIY. Pros, we're more focused on this as an indicator of what the manufacturer thinks this is going to last for, and it tells us a lot. So do you care, Tom, if you're looking at tools, do you care if it's a 3-year warranty versus a 5-year warranty?
Out in the field, if it lasts more than a year, I'm happy. If you get a year's use, a hard use out of a tool, I think you're doing good. I mean, you're talking things get dropped off ladders, they get in hot trucks. I mean, when you're day in, day out using tools, if I get a year to 2 out of a tool, I'm actually really happy with that. So when I see 3 to 5 year as a warranty thing, I'm like, you know, hopefully I even get a little more traction out of that.
And that actually echoes what we typically hear from users in the field. If they get a year or 2 out of their tools, they're really pleased with it. They're irritated when it's only been 6 months and all of a sudden something core breaks.
On the other side of that too, in a year or so, well, that's usually the next model coming out anyways, which means bigger, faster, stronger, or whatever. And at that point, yeah, I'm ready to upgrade anyways.
And that will blow people's minds
Yeah.
who don't work professionally in that manner. I mean, they will be like, what are you talking about? You know, are you kidding me? Because they're thinking in terms of, I paid all this money for the tool, it's got a 5-year, I want it to last 5 years. Yes, that's probably a great mindset to have, but you're not out there making money with that tool to the extent where it just becomes a cost of doing business. It's just a different way of thinking.
It's a consumable.
Yeah, so if that really irks you and you hear that, you're probably just not using your tools that way.
Right. And that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
No, it's just different.
Yeah.
My dad has tools. Shoot, he has cordless tools from the original DeWalt top posts, which would be what, 25 years old?
Yeah, NICAD.
Yeah. So he still has some of those laying around. I don't know if they hold charges anymore, but when I saw him last time in the garage, there's top posts.
He doesn't have any of the lithium ion.
No, they're NICADs.
Yeah,
they're all the NICADs. But just to show you, longevity for the DIY user, he's not a heavy duty user. So his original kit he still has.
That's a lot of great information, guys. So just to recap real quick, this has to fit your budget, whether you're a DIY, whether you're a pro. It's got to get the job done and give you the results that you're looking for. It's got to survive whatever kind of job site that you're working on. And then keep in mind being able to expand that platform into more compatible tools and maybe even OPE. And then remember, you want to like these tools, so keep all those things in mind. If you have any other questions about choosing a cordless platform, let us know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. Help us out by subscribing to our channel below. If you enjoyed what you saw, hit that like button and turn on notifications to stay up to date on our latest videos.